up, my peoples? I'm Gandhi, and today this is episode 14, and we have a special guest here. We have Ghost Sayami. Ghost, also known as Eric Hewitt. How goes things, my man?
Pretty good. Just hanging out in between classes right now, so I figured I'd hop on and say what's up.
Well, thanks for delaying us with food.
Hey, doing this right to class. Gotta get it in somehow.
Yeah, I hear you, man. You're a savage. Really, today what I want to talk about, since I have Ghost before he has to go away to class, is the V3 settings that are coming out. Now, we're actually going to get the playlist on Monday, correct? Like, that is when the update is in there. And I saw your tweet, and you said we don't need the Majestic Map Pack? How does that work?
So I actually, I talked to him.
You talked to him, and...
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I talked to, I was looking at your screen, it was a little bit delayed, and you were talking. Yeah. I couldn't hear you. But anyways, so Quinn Del Hoyo actually told me that you will not need the Majestic Map Pack. It will not be required. However, obviously, I highly encourage it. I'm sure you do as well. The Skyline map is amazing. Monolith, also amazing.
Debatable.
Yeah. Definitely something that's highly encouraged.
But so I guess the big thing here is there is no... Is there going to be dispatch in the playlist still and shutout? Or are you only doing the 11 game types that we've recently played? Which I will explain in 1 second.
Well, actually, I pushed for more game types this time. I wanted to obviously please more people and get all the game types in there. Obviously, there's a couple toss-ups. However, I feel there's certain ones that are, the most competitive, the top 11. So when there's a tournament or something of that nature, there's no problem to kind of designate which ones are the best. But for the time being, just the playlist. Obviously, we wanted to get more variety out there. So Bravo and Quinn and the rest of 343 actually allowed me to put in 15 game types. So so now we got a little bit more room to work with. So yes, dispatch extraction is still in.
And there's no dispatch Team Slayer though, right?
Correct. There's no dispatch.
And there's no Station 9 or Lotus.
Correct. And
awesome.
So right now there is Shutout TS as well. Those spawns are tweaked. So
what did you do for that, by the way? Because I swear you know how I feel about Shutout, right? You know that. If it sucks, I'm gonna. You know what I'm saying?
I promise you, it's gonna play better. And the reason being is I have a group of guys that I work with on spawns specifically. Tiberius Audley is the guy who pretty much wrote the book for that, and then after that, Curtis or K25 is another guy I work with who's very, very intelligent with spawns and really game design as well. He helped a ton with V3. So he really helped out, and we worked on these spawns, and I told them type of a tier system that I wanted to work out, where, let's say, the front of library, bottom BR, bottom blue, and bottom sniper were kind of the most common spawns. And then, the medium spawns are, a couple other ones, and then the last, the least most often spawns are... the least often spawns are, Snipe 2 and Top BR, Top Back BR, stuff like that, so...
Now, did you... So traditional lockout, there was a lot of... spawns on Library Bridge, BR2, bottom BR, sword, back snipe ramp, like the ramp that goes up, and snipe 1s, right? Like those were very, very common spawns. Now, is that still going to be the same influence? Because from what it sounds like it's like bottom BR and Library is like the bee's knees to spawn instead of bottom blue.
So it has a lot more influence now with your teammates, but previously there wasn't really too many spawn zones or respawn zones on the map. So we, after, obviously a month or so of testing, 2 months of testing in the Community Forge playlist, as well as, the recent Team Throwdown playlist, we figured out how to tweak the spawns really efficiently. So you guys, I can't really say much else besides just play it and trust me and trust these other two guys' work. They went, really in depth on everything, and again, I couldn't have done it without them. So props to them.
All right, now I've already talked about it in a video, but Skyline Oddball is my favorite game type, like fucking bar none. It is amazing. It plays well. There's a lot to it. What the hell? I guess the main question is why the fuck did you even think about Oddball? Because it's like that game was so awful when it first came out. Like you could throw it 100 yards. It wasn't even fun. Like what even made you give it a shot?
Well, the funny thing is I always include these, like, Tiberius Audley and K25 TSW. These guys are not only very intelligent, but they also are never counting anything out. So they're constantly pushing, and we kind of have sort of balance of power where we all discuss everything, see what can be put in, and we love Oddball. Obviously, that's a huge staple of Halo, and carrying the skull around, it's been in there since Halo 1. So we were just waiting for the appropriate Oddball map to come out. We didn't want to throw it in early in V1. We didn't want to throw it in early in V2. We didn't want to ruin its shot at having some glory, per se. So finally, Curtis came to me, or K25 came to me, and said that Skyline plays really well with it. He tested it out. He tried testing it out on Abandon. That didn't work too well either. It was really flawed. So, yeah, we worked with Skyline a little bit. I changed the ball placement around instead of bottom middle, stuff like that, and we ended up figuring out how to make it work. And obviously, like you said, it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons I suggest getting the Majestic Map App is for that game type alone. It will make you believe that Oddball can work again.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about it, too, the Majestic Map App's going to be having 5 game types out of 15. It's a third. A third of the game types you won't be able to play without the Majestic Map App. Now, I'm not here to fucking help out 343 with DLC, right? Like, I'm not, like, saying that. What I'm saying is the game types are amazing. Like, I don't benefit from you guys buying it or not buying it. I'm trying to make you guys have fucking fun. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So you should definitely absolutely look into it. It's badass. Now, oh God, how do I put this? What do I need to do to get rid of Abandoned Team Slayer? Like, personally, I can't do shit on that map, and we all know it.
Another asymmetrical map, my friend, because right now,
you made changes though, right? You have made changes.
It made changes, yes. We altered spawns again. K25 went really, really hard at that as well, and we also changed the weapon placement around. We kind of just go back and forth, and we do it over the course of days or weeks sometimes, but eventually we come down with something as awesome as the V3 Abandon. I'm actually really confident in it. You guys should like it. The spawn placement is absolutely excellent. The weapon placement is huge, and it's something that I assume to become kind of like a favorite. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why people are very, hateful towards it. Obviously, because of the previous spawn systems that we've seen, they're very, I guess you could say, unforgiving. So, just kind of like the lockout we saw in V2. So, again, we changed everything around, and we're extremely confident with all the game types put out for V3.
So you also said that you guys have developed a form of checks and balances. Mm-hmm. So, do you get to, like, fucking override people? Like, if they're like, well, a Drift 7 plot, and you're like, get the fuck out of here!
Well, technically, I guess you could say, I'm talking with...
So, you're the president.
So,
you're Obama.
Yeah, but...
God damn it!
I don't put things in based on personal bias whatsoever. When I do something, it's always based on logic, and there's tons of factors brought into play. So, when Curtis comes to me and says, oh, this, map works with Oddball... Like, we figure out why that works. It's not just, oh, look, we really want Oddball in. Like, yeah, of course we do, but we're not going to put it in and make it crap. Like, we're not forcing anything in there. We don't want, Brett Favre throwing the ball around the entire map. Instead, like I was saying, we're thinking more like Trent Dilfer, maybe Mark Sanchez, something like that. So that's really what we've gotten to. So it's nice.
All right, now last question before I let you get out of here and I beat the shit out of Spectator Mode. Unless you want to talk about that. I don't care if you do or not. It's your call. I know you got to go to class. Going into it, what is your favorite game type coming out on V3? Like, what should people be voting for?
And
actually, I'll give you a top 3. You've made them. Top 3 game types.
Okay, top 3. I mean, I love the new Simplex. I think it plays awesome. So,
isn't there a sword, right? There's a sword.
Yeah, there's a sword in there.
Bottom middle?
A lot of people like CTF. I think CTF is awesome and all, but I feel Team Slayer in this game is just like, I don't know, it just goes back and forth almost like basketball, and I really think the Team Slayer plays great on Simplex. It really reminds me of Amplified, and it plays awesome with the new setup. And then the other game type, I guess I would say, is definitely Skyline, I would go with Oddball just because it's like you said, it's just a blast playing it again.
Yep.
It's really refreshing, and the whole map is awesome, and you use it because you're running the Oddball around the map, so it's really intuitive. And I guess the last decision I would have to go with. Man, I guess Haven King of the Hill. I mean, everyone loves Haven.
Yeah.
King of the Hill is now back with that map as well as Monolith. But yeah, I mean, I think Haven is awesome. So.
All right, badass. Well, if I had to pick my top 3 from what we've played, I'd go Skyline Oddball, Skyline CTF, and Haven King of the Hill. Those would be my tray. But all right, dude, thanks for coming in. It was fun.
Thanks for having me.
Call me after class. We'll talk.
Definitely.
Peace.
Peace.
Kosayami, good guy, a gent, a scholar, a cornucopia of knowledge, and he's also dictating what goes into Team Throwdown, so we got to be nice to him. It's kind of how it works. You can't bite the hand that feeds you. Or so the riddle says. I want to talk about something that's... it's so fucking dead, but I've never had my chance to speak on it that I feel like I have to, right? I want to talk about the importance of a spectator mode, all right? And I know everyone's like, oh my god, these pros and these, all they want is fucking spectator mode. Like, they got ranks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing with spectator mode. Spectator mode is imperative in today's gaming. In today's world, you need 3 out of 3 things to make it successful. You have to have a working rank system. Have to. 100%. Look at Call of Duty, look at StarCraft, look at Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is Call of Duty. Look at League of Legends. That's the last one. Okay? Ranks, number 1. Number 2, developer support. This is going to help because if something's imbalanced, you're going to go to them, they're going to get enough feedback, they're going to change that. If something needs to be changed immediately, like, where's our red X? We're going to need that. Right? These are staples of the community. Number 3 is a spectator mode. Now, the reason a spectator mode, I believe, is so important is for a lot of things. For the competitive scene, number 1, which is most important to me, so that's what I'm going to talk about. You can do a lot of things with that. As a personality, you're going to be able to cast gameplays. Now, I know everyone thinks casting gameplays is like, oh, well, you could do that in theater mode. It's not the same. The reason it's not the same is because in a good spectator mode, I can flip through every single person on there. I can flip through everything, and it's just like I have a 4-man split and a 4-man split of both teams and one in the middle, right? I can tell you exactly what's going on the map. I can paint the entire picture for you guys and let you know what this team is doing to win and what this team did not do, and that's why they lost. That's the whole thing of being a caster, right? And then I can also highlight players, and I can say, okay, well, if the viewers want to watch, Formal destroy on Skyline CTF, I'll throw it on Formal, and we'll hang out here for a bit and just hang out. So I can do those things with spectator mode, right? So that's how it helps the personality. So that's going to also help the competitive scene. The biggest one, though, the biggest one for the competitive scene for spectator mode is the simple reason that local tournaments like AGL that don't have necessarily the same funding and price range that MLG has will be able to use spectator mode and put on the same level of production. Maybe not the same quality and everything, but they'll be able to use the same thing. And what I mean by that is they'll be able to capture all 8 gameplays. That's humongous for the competitive scene. Instead of only looking at, 2 gameplays, you're going to be able to look at all 8. And then that makes the casters better because everyone can get into the game and they can really break it down for every single person. So that's huge. Okay? The third thing for the competitive scene that's big about it is if you put in a spectator mode where you can click on someone's name and watch the game they're playing, now you have like a very in-depth look as to the people you could possibly be picking up, or if you're just hanging out on your board and you want to watch something you don't feel like playing as you got to wait for him, you can watch his game and then you can talk about it. But so if you're looking to pick someone up, right, you're a team of 3 and you're looking to pick up one person, if you have a spectator mode where you can join their game and just kind of watch, you're going to know their tendencies, what they do. Are they smart? Are they, do they challenge a lot like I do? Like I always challenge. I have awful habits, all right? Like I have to change that. Do they give up easily? Do they charge? You're going to know all of their habits just by watching them. and then you'll be able to decide if you want them or not. It's badass. This is exactly what you're looking for. So outside of the competitive scene, I don't really know any uses besides boredom. If you're like kind of sitting there hanging out and you don't know what exactly you want to do and you don't feel like playing, you can watch your buddies play. You're like, oh, they're playing big team battle. All right, sounds good. I'll run with that. That's kind of the only use I could think of for casual play for a spectator mode. But really, I think a spectator mode is really like the staple in the competitive community, and without it, it's a humongous hindrance. And then, little tournaments, even local tournaments, are going to have a very hard time putting on a production that even comes close to anything of MLG or even AGL for that matter. They may only have one capture card, and people have to rotate stations. That's awful. You don't want that. Like Gears of War, for instance. Gears of War 3 had a very good. Well, actually, for what it was a very, very good spectator mode. I used it all the time when I casted it, and dude, you can capture everything with that. You have an overlay of the map. Everything worked out perfectly. So really, I know it's not like in the to-do list or whatever, but that's kind of my bit. I've always wanted to speak on spectator mode, but I haven't done it in so long. So that's my bit. Really, and so I'm going to end this now because I'm starving. But the big thing I want you guys to take from this is 1v3 is coming out Monday. Okay, that's going to be a new Team Throwdown playlist, and what we need to do here is really start promoting Team Throwdown in every way, shape, and form. I know no one wants to spend $10 on these maps, but I'm telling you that 5 out of 15 game types are played on those maps, right? You have Capture the Flag Monolith, you have Team Slayer Monolith. You have Oddball, Capture the Flag, and Team Slayer, and possibly FFA. So there could be another one, but it's not going to be in Team Throwdown playlist. On Skyline, okay? That's humongous. That'd be like not downloading Midship back in Halo 2. Like, you have to get it. Even though Midship, I think, Midship came with the game, so it's not exactly the same. It'd be like not downloading Sanctuary, right? Everyone loves Sanctuary. It became it was there. It was the fucking foundation of Random Forge was Capture the Flag Sanctuary, and everyone used to pick up the sniper and be like, right? Like, that's how it worked. So 5 out of 15 game types, you guys have to get the Majestic Map Apps. You're not going to be disappointed. The other thing, the last thing is and I'll leave it with you, Saucy and I are going to be casting gameplays. We may be for Go Beyond Entertainment. Just Go Beyond Int. That's the / for YouTube. We're going to be doing it live. We're looking for amateur gameplays. We are looking for amateur gameplays. We are also looking for pro gameplays. Right? We have the capabilities of making a 4-man split of your team and then casting over it. So if you're looking to get some promotion here, hit up Saucy Swords and I, because we're trying to grow this scene as much as humanly fucking possible. No longer can we sit back and just watch, right? We are here to grow the scene. I personally, right now we have no idea as to how we're going to pick the game types, or can't pick the game types. God, come on, Scott, get your head in the game. We have no idea how we're going to pick the amateurs or the pros, which gameplays we're going to use to cast, but I think eventually we'll come up with an algorithm. So right now it's all random, but I think eventually there's going to be an algorithm. Personally, if it's up to me, and I'll leave this to you guys to either comment on in my YouTube or talk about in the chat. I personally think that it should be the people who are the most deserving of it. I'm so tired of the little guy getting shit on. Like I worked at UPS, right? I worked at a big company, right, where the CEO makes 380 times more than the average employee. The average employee there probably makes about 60K a year. I wasn't even close to that. I was the very bottom tier, right? So I'm as expendable as it gets. You bust your ass every day. You don't get any credit at all, and you just get walked on, right? They don't care if you show up. And if you do show up and you do well, no one gives you a fucking good job. I'm so fucking tired of the little guy getting shit on, because somewhere along the line, he just stopped getting credit and people only cared about money. So I feel like the people who are most deserving should get it, right? They should have their chance to have their gameplay either casted or uploaded. We're going to be doing both because, not always are Saucy and I going to be able to cast every gameplay, but we can, if you don't have the ability to get your gameplay uploaded so you can find a team, we're going to upload it for you. All right? We're going to coin it the little guy project. But so how I think it should be worked is if I know we're gonna get spammed with messages and be like, oh my god, I'm the best, and it's some fucking little jackass trying to get his shine of spotlight. Like, fuck you, get out of here, right? Like, we don't care about you. We don't want anything to do with you. So eventually, I think I'd like to look for people who like can show me statistics on the fact that they've been playing 5 out of 7 days in Team Throwdown, or they've been playing 5 out of 7 days a week with customs, etc., etc., etc. Stuff to that point. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. If you're in the YouTube comments when you're seeing this, or if you're in this chat, if you come up with a better solution, just let me know. My email's and my Twitter. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to leave this up to you guys, what you guys think is fair, because after all, it is for you. Other than that, that's going to do it for episode 14. I love you all. Make sure to comment. And because we need to figure this out, little guys, 4L 2013, moving forward.